So in the last class we have discussed about program, right? What is the program? Huh? ASCII codes. After that, I think this sum one, sum two. Sum one is to get the sum of the odd numbers from 1 to 10. Okay, from 1 to 10, whatever the odd numbers we have, that sum we have to calculate. Like 1 plus 3 plus 5, like that we have calculated the sum, right? You remember it, right? Next, sum 2 is nothing but sum of the even numbers which we have seen. For that, how we have written? We will be checking, we have to check whether the number is even or odd. Okay, so what is the number? Number starts from is that required? Right, now we have to start from 1. Okay, then up to 10, then we have to use range function. What we have to give? We have to give 11. We have to give 11, then it will repeat from 1 to 10. Okay, will it consider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that, or it will consider 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 like that? 1, 2, 3 in sequence it will consider. Why? Because what is the sequence of range function? Range function syntax. Range. What is this? What is this? It is start. Then what is this? End. Start, stop, then one more thing will be there. Step. Okay, by default what is the step? By default it is 1. Okay, now we have to repeat this. That's why we will make use of a loop. Okay, for I in this particular range. Right, for I in range 1 to 11, then we have to check whether if whether I is even or odd. If it is odd, that means I mod 2 will be equal to 1. That means it is odd. Then we have to add that to sum. So sum 1 is equal to sum 1 plus I. Otherwise, that is else. Sum 2 is equal to sum 2 plus I. Then finally we have to print. After completing this loop, entire loop, we have to display sum 1 and sum 2. So we will be aligning with this. Okay, if you write it here, what will happen? It will consider this is also part of the for loop itself. So we have to align with this. Then here we will print. Suppose now the requirement is like I have to display like this. Even sum is this, odd sum is this. Like this I wanted to display. So how we can write? Print even sum. Even sum is okay. We have to close the double quotes. Okay, then comma sum 2. That's it. Odd sum is okay. Right. Now we have considered numbers from 1 to 10. Instead, you consider now the program is to write take 10 numbers, not 1 to 10. 10 numbers you take. Okay, then you do the same thing. So write a program to find the sum of even numbers and odd numbers in the given 10 numbers, not from 1 to 10. Understand the difference? Yes, in the question, yeah. Write a program to find the sum of even numbers and odd numbers in the given 10 numbers. Okay. So what is the input? Any 10 numbers. Okay. So those 10 numbers we have to take as input. So where we have to store how many variables we require? Suppose the addition of two numbers you have to write. Then how many variables we require? We have to take as input. Addition of two numbers. 2. Okay. Similarly here how many numbers we have to take as input? 10. So how many variables we require? Where we have to store? What will be the variable? Where we will store these 10 numbers? That's the question. List. We have discussed, right? Collection of ordered elements. Okay. Which are changeable. We can say it as list. So how we can denote a list? By using square bracket. So by using square bracket we can denote. Let us consider the question is given integers, we will not take from the user directly, we will give 10 numbers. So we can enclose in square bracket directly. We can enclose any 10 numbers like 3, 5, 11, 12, 13, like 15, like this 10 numbers we can give. Okay, that we can assign to list. Let us say L. L is the list. Now we can perform, how we can write here? In range, how we can write? We have got all the 10 numbers into list. Okay, let us assume we are having already the list 10 numbers. Now for I, for in L, in L we can write. Then how we can write? I in L. Suppose I in L, then what it will do? I in L, let us say L is this one. Okay. Now I in L in the sense of it is membership operator, as we have discussed. In is the membership. What is the other membership operator? Not in. In, not in, isn't it? So now whether this is present in this or not, it will check. But what is our requirement? We have to access one by one these all elements. So we can use this only. Okay, but instead of 11, what we should use? Actually, our requirement is considering 10 numbers. So we have to start from okay, how it will be stored? L 3, 5, 7, these numbers are there. How this will be stored? In the list, how it will be stored? I have told you how it will be stored. Ordered in the sense, we will be having index, right? Cells will be created. Suppose 5 is the capacity, then 5 cells will be created, and each cell will be differentiated from other by using index. Index starts from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, like this indexes will be there for every cell. So 3 will be stored here, 5 will be stored here, 11, 12, 15, like this all elements will be stored. Now how we can access individual element? By using index. What is the syntax? L of 0, L of index. What should be the index now? 0, 1, 2, 3, up to 9, Why? Because what is the size of the list that we are considering? 10. So 0 to 9. So what should be used here? I in range of 0, 0, what should be used? 0, why 9? Index starts from 0, 10 elements we are having. So 0 to 9 we will be getting. So what we should use? Range of 0, 0 comma 9. Whenever we use 9, then it will take up to 8 only. So what we should use? What we should use? 0 comma 10. Then it will take from 0 to 9. Understand? So 0 comma 10. If you don't understand, you please tell. You understand, right? Yeah. 0 comma 10, then it will consider indexes from 0 to 9. So what we have to check? What we have to check? What is even or odd? What we have to check? Huh? What we have to check? I mod 2. What is I? I will be 0 or 1 or 2 index. What we need to check? List item, not list index, isn't it? Like we will be having like this, right? We will not check whether 0 is even or odd, 1 is even or odd, not like that. We will check whether 3 is even or odd, 5 is even or odd. So what we have to use here? What we have to use? L of I. Instead of I, we will be using here L of I. If L of I mod 2 is equal to 1, what does it mean? That particular index element is even or odd, we are checking. If it is odd, then we have to add it to someone. What should be here? Someone is equal to someone plus L of I. Okay. So L of I. Then here also sum 2 is equal to sum 2 plus L of I. Okay. Finally, this we will display. Got it? So prior to this, we will be assigning here 10 values. L is equal to some 10 values you can assign. Okay. Now the question is, how we can get those 10 values from the user? How we can get those 10 values? First, one value, how we can get from the user? How we can take one value as the input? One value as the input. How we can take from the user? From the user, how we can take input, ma? Okay, how? What is the function that we will use to get the input, right? Input of enter number. That's what you have to tell. Okay. Don't consider. I will ask some advanced question. I will ask very basics only, right? By this time you might have understood. I will ask what after A what will come? What is the next alphabet after A? That like that such kind of questions only I will ask. Okay. Now you consider into L we have to store 10 values. To get 10 values, what is the function that you have to use? Input. Okay, to get one value, input is sufficient. Okay, so let us consider we are having A input equal to, that is input of enter a number. It's not working here. Yeah. Yeah, A is equal to input of enter number. Okay, we have got one number. Afterwards, we will get one number. Okay, that we have to keep it in. That we have to keep it in list. How we can keep it in list? Yeah, list is equal to. That means whenever we assign L is equal to number. What is that number? What is the number? A. So let us consider. Let us assume one number already present. One number already present. Now we have to include that A. Then what we will do? Very good. We have to use append. So what is the syntax? To what we have to append? To what we have to append? To this L. So L dot append. L dot append. What we have to add? A. So L dot append. So prior to that, L should be identified as list. Try to understand. Before that, L should be identified as list. For that, what we will do is just we will indicate like this, empty. That means as sum is equal to 0, something like that we have initialized it, right? So sum is equal to 0 in the sense 0 we are assigning, so integer value we are assigning, sum is the variable of type integer, like that it will understand. Similarly here, whenever we use like this, L is equal to square bracket, within square brackets, nothing. Then it will identify this L as the list, so that we can use L dot append. Got it? So now you tell how we can complete this code. How many elements we have to take? How many elements we have to read? 10 elements. Okay. So to take one element, this is the code. Before that, you initialize L as empty list. L as empty list. Then A is equal to input of enter number. Okay. Next, after taking after taking A, we have to add this A to L. So how we can add? L dot append of A. Fine. Now again we have to take another input, right? So we will write same thing. Next again we have to add that number to L. Again we have to take another input, we have to append to this. Okay. So these two statements we have to repeat. How many times we have to repeat? How many times? 10 times. So how we can repeat a loop for 10 times? We can use for loop for I in range 10, directly you can use. Yeah, range 10, then 0 to 9 it will repeat. Okay, if you specify here, start is optional. If you want to start from 1 or 2 or other than 0, then you have to specify, otherwise just directly you can specify the stop. So it will consider stop -1 up to stop -1. So 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 9. So 10 times it will be repeated. Then we have got the input. So this is not required, right? Yeah. Then we are checking one by one, we are accessing, then whether this is even or odd. If it is odd, we are adding to sum 1. If it is even, we are adding to sum 2. Then we are displaying sum 1 and sum 2. That's it. The two things you need to understand here is L we are identifying as list. How we are identifying? By initializing like this. Similarly, for I in range, this we have seen already, but input we are taking every time, and we wanted to keep it in the same list. That's why we are using the function called append. Append functionality you know already. Just we are using that functionality according to the requirement. That's it. Okay. Now you can write a program. Write a program to print write a program to print squares of the sum of the squares of the given 3 numbers. Write a program to print sum of the squares of the given 3 numbers. So what is the input? Input will be 3 numbers. Then you have to find the squares of it, then sum up all those, then you display. Do it, ma'am. Okay, instead of 3 numbers, you take some 5 numbers. Instead of 3, you take 5. Given 5 numbers. So our input will be 5 numbers. Output will be one sum. Okay. So how you will take 5 numbers as the input? List again. So again you use the same thing. L initialized with empty, then I in range of 5. Then A is equal to enter number, enter first number, like that. You try to get this kind of thing. Enter first number, enter second number, like that, or enter number 1, enter number 2, enter number 3, like that you should get. While asking input, what is the number that you are entering, that you should know. Okay, like that you have to display. So how can you display? An answer. Just first time I value will be 0, right? That time we are taking number 1. So you can display here I plus 1. Got it? Comma I plus 1. Then it will display enter number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Okay. And then after taking that, you will be adding, you will be appending to the list. Then afterwards, what's the requirement? What is the question? So what should be used here? Range 0 to 6. 0 to 6. 0 to 5. Why? Because the index is from 0 to 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 numbers means 0 to 4. So we have to use 0, 5. Then it will consider 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Got it? Or simply we can use range of 5. Okay, both will be same. These two are same. Okay. Now. Square. How we can calculate square? Product. What we should use? What we need to multiply? That you tell first. What we need to multiply? Okay, let us consider 5 numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is L. Okay, like this we have elements, right? Now we are repeating this particular one. I will point to this index. I in range of 0, 5 in the sense I will be 0, I will be 1, I will be 2, like this we are varying. Now what we have to, L of I we have to multiply with, L of I only, right? Then we will be getting square of it. Then afterwards we have to calculate sum of the squares of the given number. So square we are getting, this we have to add to sum. Understand? This we have to, or you consider this as the sum now for the first time. Second time, sum is equal to second time. Again we will be multiplying this only, right? L of I into L of I value will be 1 for the second time. First time L of 0. Second time it will be 1, isn't it? Then this we have to, after multiplying, after calculating the square, we have to add to previous sum. Okay, where we have stored in sum only. So sum plus this L of 1 into L of 1. Okay, now this will be evaluated first, right? This will be evaluated, then that will be added to sum, that will be assigned to this same variable, isn't it? How operations will be, these operators will be executed, that you need to understand in which order. First this will be evaluated, then plus, then equal to. It is not like always it will start from there only. Understand? Suppose if I write A is equal to B into C plus D, how it will be performed? B into C, then plus D, then assignment operator. Okay, always you remember assignment operator will have low precedence compared to all other operators in general. Okay, so assignment operator will be evaluated at last according to the precedence in the sense priority. Okay, according to the precedence, operators will be evaluated. Okay, now you consider as the context is demanding, let us discuss one thing. Like we are having D is equal to A plus B. How it will be evaluated? First addition will be performed, then assignment. Now you consider A plus B plus C. Now first A plus B. Why? Earlier you have told with respect to this B into C will be performed first, then plus D. Why? Because the star will be having more precedence compared to plus. Okay, but here you are saying now A plus B. Why? Here also B plus C, right? This also can be performed. Okay, sequence order. Let us consider A plus B minus C. First A plus B only or B minus C? A plus B only will be performed. Let us consider A minus B plus C. Then B plus C. First addition, then subtraction. Okay, in mathematics we are having that, right? Okay, according to this sequence we will go. But coming to this programming language, not only Python or C or C++, anything, we will be having certain precedence for every operator. Okay, like you consider just arithmetic operators. We are having arithmetic operators as a plus, minus, multiplication, division. These are the arithmetic operators, right? Even mod operator also arithmetic operator only. Okay, now out of these, this star, that is multiplication and division, these two operators will be having higher precedence compared to plus and minus. Okay, these two are having more precedence compared to this. Okay, now coming to these two, just star and slash, which one will be having more precedence? That is the question. Star and slash, which one will be having more precedence? In this particular one only you can observe that this I have mentioned in one level, these two in another level. So these two will be having same precedence and these two will be having same precedence. Plus and minus will be having same precedence. Star and slash will also have same precedence. Now how it will be considered? Or you can consider two stars. Two stars in the sense I am having A is equal to B star C star D. Okay, this is anyway same operator, so same precedence. Then how it has to be evaluated? That will be indicated by using the parameter called associativity. Okay, associativity. Associativity property we will be using whenever we are having an expression which contains operators which are having same precedence. Then only we will go for associativity. Okay, associativity can be of two types. One is left to right. Okay, second one is right to left. Okay, for every operator we will be having associativity property. Okay, for most of the operators it will be left to right. For most of the operators, but not for all. That you keep in mind. Okay, whenever context is comes, then I will tell for which operators it is right to left. If you know this, then it is you will be knowing for all, right? So most of the operators will be having left to right. So whenever you consider this one, D is equal to A plus B plus C. If you consider the associativity left to right, you will be evaluating D is equal to A first. But what is the caution? I told you. What is the caution? Whenever we are having same precedence, then only we will go for associativity of those operators, that you keep in mind. So here D is equal to A plus B plus C means what are the operators that we have? Equal to, that is assignment operator plus then plus. Now we know that plus will come prior to assignment operator. Plus will come prior to assignment operator. This is having more precedence compared to this. So plus has to be evaluated. But we are having at that particular level, we are having two operations, right? A plus B or B plus C. So which one we have to consider based upon associativity. Okay, what is the associativity of plus and minus? Left to right. So we have to evaluate in that order. Okay, whether A plus B minus C means A plus B minus C. Like that only it will be A minus B plus C. Left to right only it will evaluate. Understand? I will tell you for which operators it has to be right to left. Understand? So precedence, associativity. For what we will be having precedence, for what we will be having associativity? For operators. Okay, what are the operators? Plus is the operator, minus is the operator. Okay, multiplication is the operator, slash is the operator, even mod operator is the operator. Okay, like that for operators we will be having precedence. For operators only we will be having associativity. Yeah, from where we went there? Sometimes you remember from in which way we are going. Understand? Okay, now L of 0 multiplied by L of 0, then we are getting first number square, then that we are preserving in sum. Okay, sum will be 14 square. What is 14 square? Okay, next L of 1 square, that means 3 into 3, so 9, that we have to add to sum. So it will be next L of 2 multiplied by L of 2, then that we have to add to sum. So it will be 209. Next it will be 218. Next it will be so now here if you observe sum plus L of 1 into L of 2. Next will be sum is equal to sum plus L of 2 into L of 2. Next sum plus L of 3 into L of 3. So except this first statement, remaining all are similar kind of statements. We are changing only the index. So I am putting here I. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, I value is 1. I value I am assuming, so I value should vary from 0 to 4. But what about the sum for the first time? Sum should be 0, so that it will not affect anything. Understand? So 0 to 196 it will change. 0 plus 196. So that we can generalize this entire thing. So after generalizing, how it will be? Like for I in range of 0, 0, 5, then 0, 5, that means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 only. This one you generalize it. This one, sum is equal to this, you can generalize it. These two you can generalize. How? Sum is equal to, first time also sum can be 0. So sum is equal to 0. So sum is equal to L of I multiplied by L of I. Next, second time I value will be 1, L of 1 into L of 1, that we will be adding to sum. Same process we will repeat. For the first time only you need to consider this sum is equal to 0. So first time as we have taken some value as 0, we can add that sum to this. There won't be any change, isn't it? So sum is equal to sum plus L of I into L of I, so that we can generalize it. For all 0 to 4, we can repeat the same. Got it? Yeah. So finally we have to print Okay, take this. Hmm? Suppose the question is, instead of 5 numbers, you consider 50 numbers. Okay, 50 numbers. Sum, sum 1, sum 2, like that, how many sums? Hmm. 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 Yeah, yeah. Instead of multiplying L of I with L of I, we have one shortcut operator. What is it? Huh? What is called? What you call this operator? Exponentiation operator. I told you, right? A 2 in the sense it will give A square. So instead of L of I into L of I, we can use L of I exponential operator 2. It is equivalent to L of I square. Okay, just in the last class I told you to write a program to print factors of a given number. How many of you completed? I think I only have, right, factors of a given number. We didn't complete. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, right. Write a program to print factors of a given number. Last class did you attend? Write a program to print the factors of a given number. Yeah, any doubts from online people? Yeah, how we can print factors of a given number? Input. One number we have to take as input. So n is equal to input. Then we have to consider factors. Suppose number is 5. Factors can be start from 1. So starting from 1 up to what extent we will be having factors for a given number 5? Up to 5. If the given number is 10, then 1 to 10 will be having factors. So if the given number is n, then up to n. So we have to repeat from, we have to repeat from 1 to n. So range of n plus 1. Okay. For I in range of 1 comma n plus 1, we have to check whether n is divisible by I or not. If n is divisible by I in the sense n mod I will be 0, then we have to print that I. So print I. Okay, that's it. This is for what? Printing factors of a given number. Now just you modify this program to count how many factors we are having for the given number. How can you modify? Write a program to print number of factors for the given number. Write a program to print number of factors for the given number. So input will be same, that n. Then for I in range of 1 comma n plus 1, we have to check starting from 1 to n, we have to check. So 1 comma n plus 1, then we have to check this n mod I equal to 0 or not. Whenever we have found one factor, then let us consider we will be maintaining the variable called count. Okay, initially we assume that no factors exist, so it will be 0. We will divide with 1, we will get the remainder as 0, so one factor we have found. Next we will divide with 2, if that is also divisible, then it will be incremented. Next, suppose third factor you have found, then it will be incremented. Next, whenever we get next factor, then only we will increment this. Okay, so what should be the code? Whenever we find a factor, then what we are doing? We are incrementing the count value. So, what we have to change? What we have to change? Count we have to change. Okay, I anyway it will be changed by using range. So count value we have to change as count value we have to change as you consider n value as 15. Now you say count value as 0. Okay, count value will be 1. When you maintain I value will start from 1. 15 and 1, it is divisible. So we will increment the count as 1. Next, I value will be incremented. Then 15 mod 2. No. Next, we will increment I value to 3. Yes. So, this will become. What is this count that you understand? Count is to denote number of factors. So it will become 2. Okay, next, I value becomes 4. Then, no, next, I value becomes 5. Then, next, I value becomes 6. No change. 7, no change. 8, no change. Like that up to 14, no change. 15, then 4. Then we have to print count. Okay, now you say what should be here? Count is equal to n mod I equal to 0. Whenever it is divisible, then we have found one factor, one additional factor. Try to understand. One additional factor. Whatever the count value we are having, that we are incrementing. So, that's it. Simple thing. Count is equal to count plus 1. Okay. Then finally you print here count. Okay. Next, write a program. Write a program to check. Write a program to check whether the given number is prime number or not. This is an interesting problem and most frequently asked question in interviews as well. Write a program to check whether the given number is prime number or not. Okay. Now, how can we check? Like you consider the number is 5. How can we check whether the given number is prime or not? You consider 57. Only 2 factors. Very good. So, if we have only 2 factors for the given number, then we can say it has the prime number. Okay, except 1. Okay, of course, for 1 also this property will be applicable. For 1 we are having the factor 1 only. So, we can consider for 2 how many factors? For 2 how many factors? 1 and 2. Next, for 3 how many factors? 1 and 3. For 4? 1, 2, 4. So, it is not a prime. For 5? 1 and 5. For 7? 1, for 9? 1, 3, 9. So, it is not a prime number. So, By using this logic, how can we write? Can we able to write whether the given number is prime or not? What is the input? N is the input. So n is the input, same input. What we have to check? How many factors we are having? Already we have written how many factors. Then where we are storing that number of factors? Count. So that count we have to check whether that count is 2 or not. If it is 2, that is prime number. So what we will do? Instead of printing the number of factors, just we will check the count. So after after terminating this loop, we will be checking here if count equal to 2, print 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 print. What's the question? Question you read? Prime or not? That should be the output. So if count is 2, then it is prime. These two should be output. That's why I told you initially only, for every program you analyze first what is the input, what is the output. Okay, can you optimize this code? Can you optimize this code? Okay, I will ask one question. You tell me one number which is not divisible by itself. 0 will not be divisible by 0. Then 1 is also rational. One whole number, you say positive integer. Okay, tell me one positive integer which is not divisible by itself. What's the question? What is the question? Yeah, what's the answer? Not possible. Okay, there is no such kind of number exist. So does not exist. Okay, fine. From that, can you able to optimize it? We have discussed this kind of thing, like you consider 60 as the number, 60 as the number. Okay, 60 will be factor definitely. 1 will be factor definitely. Okay, now 30 is also a factor. Now you consider 30 to 60 range. 30 to 60 range. That is 31 to 59. Do we have any factor? No. Not only for this number, you consider 160. Then what will be the range? 81 to 159. We will not be having any factor. You consider 1600. Then 801 to up to this we will not be having any factor. It is possible. Okay, you consider 69. Then 69. 34 to 68. What is n by 2? First of all, this is n. So n by 2 will be 34, 33 or 35, whatever you consider. Okay, we will not be having from here to here definitely. Yes or no? You consider 33 or 34 or 35. It is not the factor. Okay, so now we can ensure that after n by 2, we will not be having any factor for the given number other than itself. So n anyway it is a factor, 1 anyway it is a factor for every number. So what we can how we can optimize this logic is, let us say we are having 12 as the number. So 1 anyway it is a factor. What are the numbers? Let us write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now 1 anyway it is a factor. 12 anyway it is a factor of the given number. So for any given number, 1 and itself is a factor. Okay, are the factors. Now we can observe that after 6 we will not be having any factors for 12. That is after n by 2. Okay. Now can we need to check this one first of all? Can we need to divide the number with 1 to get the number of factors? No. Next, can we need to check with this? No. Okay. So trivially we can change this one as I in 2 to n minus 1 trivially. Okay, from up to this, even if you consider up to 11, 2 to n minus 1, like that we can say. But even after this observation, that is after 6 we will not be having any factor, so we can reduce it further, like after n by 2. So what we can write here? What we can write? 2 to 2 to n by 2. 2 to n by 2, then 2 to n by 2 plus 1. Why? Because for 12 only it is giving a counter, isn't it? For 12, what is n by 2? 6. So 2 to 6 in the sense it will consider up to 5. But 6 also a factor for 12. So we have to consider up to so n by 2 plus 1. So n by 2 plus 1. Okay, this you should not write like this, but how we have to write? N plus 1 by 2. N by 2 plus 1, what is it? N by 2 plus 1 is n plus 1. N plus 2 by 2. N plus 2 by 2. Right? Correct? This one. So now why we are using parenthesis? Otherwise it will consider this one first. It will perform this one. To increase the priority, we are using parenthesis. This kind of thing we have discussed already. Right? We cannot get all the things. Okay? I hope you understand what I have to. So 2 comma n plus 2 by 2. Up to this we will repeat. Then what should be the condition here? Whenever we have a factor, we will increment the count. Okay, how we have to check? What should be the count? Count is equal to, you consider 2 to 6 we will check. Okay, whether we are having factor or not. When we say prime, the count should be you check, you consider we are starting from 2. Okay, we are not going to n. Okay, now you consider 7 as the value. Okay, 7 as the value, whether it is prime or not. Yes, so we will start from 2 to 3 or 4. Okay, now you say count should be all values you are saying randomly. We are considering we are avoiding here 1. Okay, and we are avoiding n also. Already 2 factors only we should have. Those 2 factors we are eliminated. We are not considering. So how many factors we should have to claim it as prime? It should be 0. We should not have any more factors. Why? Because 1 we have already considered, n we have already considered. So we should not have any more factors. So what should be the condition here? Count should be 0. So if the count value is 0, then we can say it as prime. Other than 0, if you have any other factor, then automatically it is not a prime. Got it? Simple logic. We haven't updated the program much, but with this simple analysis, we could able to eliminate the number of number of operations that we perform by half. Got it? This is the prime number program. Of course, as of now, this is the efficient program. As of whatever we have discussed. How many types we have seen? 1 to n we have seen. That is 1 comma n plus 1. Next 2 to n minus 1 also we have seen. 2 comma n minus 1. Third one is like 2 comma n by 2 plus 1. Like up to half. After half we will not be having any factor. Yeah. The online people, enter your rule number and can leave.